If you want to improve your run times and distances from 1 to 3 miles, but you don't want to do a ton of running, I have two programs that might be of interest to you. The first one we're going to talk about, I call just Down and Dirty Run Program number 1. I started using this in the military in the form that I have it on the paper, and then later in grad school I was trying to chase a sub 5-minute 1 mile, so I used one of the training days from this because I only wanted to train once a week, see how fast I could get in a 1 mile. Spoiler, didn't get sub 5, but I did get to 5:14, which at 37 I was pretty happy with. This has a middle distance emphasis, so you can use this anywhere from the 1 to 3 mile range. You could probably stretch it out and use it for a 5 miler as well. If you're going to do the 2 days a week, you have day 1, we're just going to call it Monday, and that's where you're doing kind of a moderate effort, and it's going to range from 3 to 6 miles depending on the week. So you're going to see this slight increase of 1 mile each week for the first 3 weeks. So you're going to start with a 3 mile. Week 2, you're going to increase it by 1 mile to 4 miles. Week 3, you're going to run a 5 miler. And then week 4, you're going to take off. And you're going to repeat this cycle twice, but you're going to increase for the second 4 weeks. So week 5 here, you have a 4 mile run on week 5, a 5 mile run on week 6, and a 6 mile run on week 7. You're going to take week 8 off. Week 9, you're going to also take off because that's going to be your test week. The second day is going to be an interval day, so we're going to call that Thursday. Week 1, you're going to do 5 1,000 meter repeats. You're going to take a 4-minute rest between each of those intervals. You're going to repeat that for 4 weeks. So it's real straightforward. Run 1,000 meters, rest 4 minutes, run 1,000 meters, rest 4 minutes. Repeat that 5 times, your workout's done. The second 4 weeks, so week 5 through 8, you're going to do same thing, 5 1,000 meter runs, but you're going to only take a 3-minute rest. So you're reducing that rest time, but the volume and the run intensity should stay the same. On week 9, you're not going to do that first day of running if you have it in your program that you're running, but you're going to retest whatever your target run might be. If you don't want to run it for 2 days, you can just do the 1 day, and I would recommend only doing day 2 once a week. Now, this is probably not going to carry over all that well to something in the 3 miles or above range, but for anything like 1 to 2 miles, I do think it's going to have a good impact, especially for 1 mile because I have tried that. So a few more notes. So you're going to retest your target run on week 9, day 2. That's your only scheduled run for the week. If you're going to run this, let's say you don't have a 400 meter track to do it on, just for reference, 1 kilometer is 0.62 miles. If you're on a treadmill, you're going to run that 0.62 miles at a 1% incline to kind of make up for the fact that you're on a treadmill. You can adjust your goal times for each 1,000 meter split to match your target pace. So let's just say we're going to do this super simplistically. You want to run a 5K, your timed goal is 25 minutes. So your 1,000 meter repeat goal needs to be 5 minutes per 1,000 meters or less. I would try and go under that 5-minute mark if you're trying to improve or hit a target. Like I said, I've run this for 1 day a week using only the repeats. You can also use this for sort of maintenance work, or if you're traveling, you just need to get in a run. You don't have a bunch of time, or maybe you only have a track nearby. Great way to do it. A couple notes on pacing. So you can run this paced to a specific time target. So let's say your 5K, you want it in 25 minutes. You adjust your pacing for each interval to be 5 minutes or less. Since you're running 5 1,000 meter intervals, put together that's 5K. How I would run it, or how I have run it in the past, is just going all out on every interval. So I would basically run until I start to dry heave and then back off just slightly and try and keep that systemic pace for the duration of the 1,000 meters. Now, I've been told that's not the smartest. I would tend to agree, but it also shaved a couple minutes off my 1 miler, so it did work. Another thing you can do is take the more Charlie Francis approach to your intervals, to where you're picking a target time that you want to hit for each 1,000 meter interval. Let's say we're gonna say it's 4 minutes and 30 seconds for each interval. That's the target. And it's something I can maintain across 5 intervals. I'm going to run aiming for that 4:30 pace. And when I start to decline, so when my pace goes, let's say I'm running number 1's at 4:30, number 2's at 4:28, number 3's at 4:35. That's still pretty close. And then number 4 is at like 4:50 or 5 minutes. You have one of 2 options. The first option is you call it. So you don't run your 5th interval. You're not able to recover fast enough in those 4 minutes to hit your target time, so that last one you're done. Second option is you can extend the rest interval. You can do 6 minutes instead of 4 minutes. You can do 8 minutes, and then you're going to rerun that interval trying to hit that target time. And if you can hit it, good to go. If this happens earlier on in the workout, let's say you get to your second interval and your time just goes out the window, so you're aiming for 4:30, you get like a 4:50. If it's at the second interval, I would recommend taking that extended rest period and trying to run that third one at your target pace. If this happens on, say, the fourth interval, I would probably take the Charlie Francis approach and just fucking call it. But that's it. It's real straightforward. You can run this as 2 days or 1 day. I like the 1 day, but it is pretty unpleasant, so just keep that in mind. The second program we're going to talk about is specific to a 5K. This is a 2-day-a-week program, but the volume is pretty low and it's about as simple as you can make it. There are a couple prerequisites for this. The first is you need to be able to run a 5K. You need to have some sort of running base, or at least the ability to complete a 5K, because you're going to be running a 5K weekly in this program. On the first day, you're going to run 3 400-meter repeats, and the pacing on those is simply slow-ish. Then the second one's going to be a medium pace, and the third one's going to be a fast pace and all out. So my goal time for my fast 400 meters was 60 seconds. Adjust that to your abilities and make it a goal that feels slightly out of reach. So something you can get close to, but you're going to really struggle and kind of be at that, as I like to call it, vomiting threshold in order to hit that. I think the closest I got was 62 or 63 seconds, which was the fastest I had ever run a 400 meter, but I didn't hit 60 seconds. That's okay. Second day is you're going to run that 5K, and you're going to run that trying to make a time improvement week over week. As far as how long to run this program, I think I ran this for about 6 to 8 weeks, or you can run this until your 5K time stops improving. Another thing I like to do is program a rest day after the run days, especially for the higher intensity stuff. So when I ran this Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday and Sunday were off. That was no training of any other kind. Now for the interval day, when I ran the 400s, I would do my leg training prior to the runs. I do like running in a somewhat fatigued state. It's just my preference. My times never really change. It's just the effort required seems to increase. When you hit a plateau in reducing your 5K time, which will probably happen at some point depending on how long you run this, I recommend you take a week off from all running and then retest your 5K the following week to confirm. Those are the two programs. Real simple, real effective, and try them out. I've got a link down below to some PDFs. They're free, and I hope you get some use out of them. Cheers.